Welcome back my YouTube channel Rare Coin Review. Today's spotlight falls on a fascinating piece from Southern Africa, this coin 1992 South African 10-cent coin. This coin, though small in denomination, holds a significant place in numismatic circles due to its historical context, design elements, and, most intriguingly, its exceptional value under certain conditions. The 1992 10-cent coin was minted during a period of immense political and social transition in South Africa. The country was approaching the end of apartheid, and its coinage from this era reflects both the legacy of the past and the early signs of change. It was a pivotal year that straddled two very different eras in South African history. This coin was part of the second decimal series introduced by the South African Mint in 1965, following the country's shift from the British-based currency system to the rand. By 1992, this series had already seen a number of changes in metal composition and design, but it retained core symbols that were familiar to the South African public. The obverse of the 1992 10-cent coin features the coat of arms of South Africa, as it existed prior to 1994. This design, intricate and heraldic in nature, encapsulates the union of different cultural elements that formed the country. It includes a lion, shield, and other traditional elements with the country name, SUID Africa, and South Africa, inscribed around the edge. The reverse side of the coin presents the iconic arum lily, a beautiful plant native to southern Africa, symbolizing purity and strength. The number 10 appears boldly above the flower, indicating the denomination. The artist behind the floral motif was Krugerrand, whose work on South African coins is highly regarded for its elegance and clarity. In terms of physical specifications, the coin has a diameter of 16.26 millimeters and weighs approximately 2 grams. It was struck in nickel-plated copper, giving it a silvery appearance while maintaining cost-effectiveness for mass production. The edge is smooth, without any milling or lettering. 1992 was not an especially low mintage year in terms of overall production. However, what makes this coin so valuable and rare lies not in the regular circulation strike, but in a very specific mint-era variety that collectors highly prize. These rare variants have fetched astonishing prices in private auctions and numismatic circles. There have been confirmed reports of 1,992 10-cent coins with minting anomalies, such as double dies, off-center strikes, and most notably, a small number of coins that were mistakenly struck on different planchets, possibly bronze or other incorrect metal blanks. These error coins are extremely rare and often the result of transitional or experimental minting processes. What makes this coin even more interesting is the overlap between South Africa's minting process and international coin blank suppliers during the early 1990s. It's possible that incorrect blanks from another country's mint found their way into the South African mint, creating these unique, error-laden specimens. These rare varieties are the key to the coin's extreme value in the collector's market. Regular 1992 10-cent coins may be worth only a few cents above face value. However, the rare error versions, particularly those struck on the wrong planchet or with a dramatic minting error, have been valued by collectors and dealers at incredible amounts. In one documented private auction, a 1992 South African 10-cent error coin, authenticated by a major grading company, was sold for an eye-watering $1.5 million. This price was influenced not only by its rarity, but by the coin's pristine condition, rarity of the error, and strong demand from collectors of African and Commonwealth coinage. It is important to note that such values are only achievable under very specific conditions. The coin must have a rare mint error, be in high-grade uncirculated condition, and be authenticated by a recognized third-party grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. A regular circulated 10-cent coin from the same year, without such errors, will not fetch more than $1 or $2. Collectors who stumble upon a 1992 10-cent coin should carefully examine it for any irregularities in weight, color, strike alignment, or thickness. These can be indicators of a potential error coin. A small deviation from the standard nickel-plated copper appearance, can signal a possible valuable variety. Another distinguishing feature to look out for is any doubling in the date, denomination, or floral motif. This could suggest a double die error, which significantly boosts the coin's appeal to error collectors. Coins exhibiting such traits should be preserved carefully and submitted for professional evaluation. The coin's historical timing also adds to its intrigue. Coming just 2 years before South Africa's first democratic elections in 1994, the 1992 coin represents one of the last examples of pre-constitutional South African currency. This adds a layer of socio-political significance for historians and collectors alike. Because of its relatively recent minting, many of these coins are still in circulation or kept in household drawers, unnoticed. This opens the door for casual hobbyists or even non-collectors to discover a valuable treasure simply lying around the house or tucked in an old coin jar. The South African Mint has never officially acknowledged the exact number of error coins released in 1992, which further fuels the mystery and excitement surrounding this issue. Speculation among numismatists suggests that fewer than a dozen of these error coins may exist globally, making it a true holy grail for collectors. In summary, while most 1992 South African 10-cent coins are common and easily overlooked, a tiny handful are numismatic gold mines. A combination of mint error, historical timing, and collector demand has elevated this otherwise ordinary coin into $1 million collectible. If you have this coin 1992 South Africa 10-cent coin history, this coin 1978 South Africa 1 Rand coin from South Africa, an often overlooked piece with a history that's far richer than its face value might suggest, to understand the significance of the 1 Rand 1978 coin, we need to first look at the history of South Africa's currency. The Rand was introduced in 1961, replacing the South African pound when the country became a republic. Named after the Witwatersrand, a ridge upon which Johannesburg is built and rich in gold deposits, the Rand quickly became a symbol of South Africa's economy. The 1 Rand coin in 1978 was minted during a politically charged time in South Africa's history. The country was still under apartheid, and much of its coinage reflected both national pride and isolation from the global economy. These coins became a subtle expression of identity for a nation in the midst of global scrutiny. The obverse of the 1978 1 Rand coin features the bust of Jan van Riebeeck, a Dutch colonial administrator and founder of Cape Town in 1652. His image was used on South African coins as a nod to the country's European colonial roots, and his stern portrait has become iconic over the years. Below Van Riebeeck's image is the inscription, Sud Africa, South Africa, a bilingual nod to both Afrikaans and English, the two official languages of the time. The date, 1978, is also struck prominently, marking the year of mintage. This was standard for coins during this period, offering both linguistic representation and historical timestamp. Flipping the coin over, the reverse showcases a striking image of a springbok antelope, South Africa's national animal. It's depicted mid-leap, symbolizing grace and resilience, qualities the nation often saw in itself. The design was created by renowned engraver Kurt Steinberg, whose work appears on many South African coins. The word Rand is inscribed boldly beneath the springbok, along with the numeral 1, denoting its denomination. The clean, simple design has stood the test of time, making this one of the more elegant coin faces in South African numismatics. While the coin was minted for circulation, certain variants of the 1978 1 Rand are incredibly rare. In particular, proof versions and those with minting errors are extremely valuable. But what sets one specific variant apart is its scarcity, pristine condition, and historical context. One such example is the 1978 1 Rand coin minted in proof gold, believed to be part of a limited presentation set. These were not released for general circulation and were instead produced in extremely limited quantities, possibly for diplomatic or commemorative purposes. This ultra-rare gold-proof version of the 1 Rand 1978 coin has fetched an astonishing value, in private auctions. In 2021, one such coin reportedly changed hands for $1.2 million, making it one of the most expensive South African coins ever sold. Its condition, origin, and extreme rarity all contributed to this record-breaking price. What makes this coin even more intriguing is that it bridges the gap between modern currency and collectible gold bullion. It's a hybrid of monetary and historical value, wrapped in a design that has become a national symbol. Collectors prize the 1 Rand 1978 coin for several reasons. Its craftsmanship, its connection to a pivotal time in South African history, and its representation of numismatic artistry. It's not just a coin. It's a snapshot of a nation's identity during a transformative period. Minted by the South African Mint, the 1 Rand 1978 coin was struck in both standard nickel and limited gold proofs. The Mint's high standards and attention to detail have made South African coins sought after by collectors around the world. The condition of the coin plays a massive role in its value. Circulated versions may sell for a few dollars, but coins in mint state condition, especially with original luster and no handling marks, can command significantly higher prices. The difference between a common coin and a $1.2 million rarity is often found under a microscope. For those looking to invest in rare coins, the 1978 1 Rand is a reminder of why provenance, condition, and scarcity matter so much. Every detail, from the font of the lettering to the sharpness of the strike, tells a story and adds or subtracts from a coin's final value. Many South African coins from the 20th century are still underappreciated in the global coin market. As awareness increases, their value and desirability are expected to rise, making now an excellent time for both seasoned collectors and newcomers to explore them. Owning this coin 1978 South Africa 1 Rand coin history. This coin 2007 South Africa 5 Rand coin. The 2007 5 Rand coin holds a unique place in numismatic history. At first glance, it might seem like just another modern coin, but its deeper story, symbolic meaning, and specific characteristics have drawn the attention of collectors around the globe. Issued by the South African Reserve Bank, the 5 Rand coin from 2007 was part of a special circulation release that commemorated a major milestone in the country's political and social journey. It celebrated the 90th birthday of former President Nelson Mandela, a figure revered not only in South Africa, but across the world. The decision to place Mandela on the coin was more than a tribute. It was a reflection of the nation's gratitude toward a man who dedicated his life to the fight for freedom, equality, and unity. The coin was officially released into circulation in July 2008. Although it bears the date 2007, a feature that often causes confusion among new collectors. This commemorative coin features a striking portrait of Nelson Mandela on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. The detail captured in the engraving reflects Mandela's dignity and calm resolve, immortalizing the spirit of his leadership. Surrounding the portrait, the coin carries the inscription 90 years, marking Mandela's age at the time. The text is written in both English and one of the indigenous South African languages, paying tribute to the country's multicultural heritage. That on the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the traditional South African coat of arms. This symbol, introduced in 2000, represents national unity and democratic change. It includes motifs such as the secretary bird, a shield, and 2 human figures, all of which tell the story of South Africa's rebirth. The coin is bimetallic, composed of a bronze-colored center made of copper and nickel, and a nickel-plated outer ring. This structure gives it a distinctive look and feel, helping to protect it from counterfeiting, a common concern with high-value coins in circulation. In terms of size and weight, the coin has a diameter of 26 millimeters and weighs approximately 9.5 grams. It's thicker than many standard coins and has a reeded edge, adding to its durability and collectability. Though it was officially released into circulation, the 2007 5 Rand Mandela coin was never a typical pocket change item. From the moment it appeared, it was seen as a commemorative piece rather than everyday currency. Many South Africans saved them as keepsakes, leading to a limited number of high-quality specimens remaining in pristine condition. Now let's talk about what most collectors are eager to know: the value. While many of these coins still exist in moderate condition, uncirculated or proof condition examples can fetch exceptional prices. In particular, a small number of the coins were struck in a special collector's finish, which significantly increases their value. The rarest and most desirable examples of the 2007 Mandela 5 Rand coin have reached jaw-dropping prices at auction. In one notable case, a pristine proof version with full certification sold for over $2.2 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins from the African continent. Such high value is driven by a combination of factors: the coin's symbolic significance, limited availability in top grades, and, of course, global interest in Mandela memorabilia. Collectors view this coin not just as currency, but as a piece of history frozen in metal. Adding to the mystique, counterfeits of this coin have appeared over the years, prompting collectors to be cautious. Experts advise buying from reputable dealers and ensuring coins are graded by a recognized numismatic authority. The Mandela 5 Rand is more than a collectible. It represents a legacy. Coins like this help preserve stories that textbooks alone cannot fully capture. Holding one is like holding a moment in time, a tribute to peace, perseverance, and progress. If you happen to own one, take a close look at its condition. Look for signs of wear, check the edges, and if possible, have it appraised. You might be holding something far more valuable than you realize. For those looking to start collecting, the Mandela coin offers a great introduction to South African numismatics. It teaches us not just about minting and metal, but about the power of symbolism and leadership in shaping a nation's identity. And that wraps up today's deep dive. This coin 2007 South African 5 Rand coin history. This coin 2002 South Africa 5 Rand coin, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the globe. At first glance, the 5 Rand coin may appear to be just another circulating piece of currency. However, the 2002 edition stands apart from all others, not just for its design, but for the powerful historical moment it commemorates, a turning point in South Africa's democratic journey. This specific coin was issued to mark the 10th anniversary of South Africa's first democratic elections in 1994. These elections brought an end to apartheid and led to the election of Nelson Mandela as the country's first black president. The coin pays tribute to a decade of democracy and the beginning of a new era for South Africa. The obverse of the coin features the South African coat of arms, introduced in the same year, 2002. This version of the coat of arms symbolizes unity and progress, incorporating elements from indigenous African heritage, marking a shift from colonial influence to a proudly African identity. On the reverse side, the coin displays an image of a traditional African drum, the gem, surrounded by rhythmic lines symbolizing celebration. This choice was intentional, reflecting the joyous mood of the nation in celebrating 10 years of freedom and democracy. What makes this coin even more unique is the inscription on the rim, which reads, 10 years of freedom. This edge lettering is not found on most South African coins and adds a layer of distinctiveness, making it even more attractive to numismatists and historians alike. The 2002 5 Rand coin was also the first bimetallic coin introduced by the South African Mint, combining a nickel-plated copper outer ring with a bronze-plated aluminium center. This advanced technology was designed not only for durability, but also to combat increasing counterfeiting concerns in the early 2000s. Security was a major consideration in its production. Microlettering, grooved edges, and latent image technology were employed to protect the integrity of the coin, which also elevated its appeal among collectors who value technological sophistication in coinage. The South African Mint issued millions of these coins for general circulation. However, what most people don't know is that a limited number of specially struck proof and uncirculated coins were minted separately for collectors. These rare variants are where the real value lies. One of these rare collector's editions, a flawless, proof quality 2002 5 Rand coin, sealed and certified by an international grading service, was reportedly sold in a private sale for an astonishing $2 million. The coin's value stems not only from its condition and scarcity, but from its deep political and historical significance. This isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of liberation, transformation, and national pride. For those who understand its context, owning this coin is like holding a piece of modern African history, a tangible connection to a nation's rebirth. Collectors who search for coins with both rarity and narrative find the 2002 5 Rand coin to be among the most desirable in the African numismatic space. Its market value has grown steadily over the past 2 decades, with interest continuing to rise from global collectors. Unlike many high-value coins that are centuries old, this coin proves that even modern currency can achieve legendary status when it's backed by powerful meaning and limited availability. It shows us that value in numismatics isn't always about age. Sometimes, it's about impact. Many South Africans still have this coin tucked away in drawers, unaware of its potential worth. If you live in South Africa or have traveled there, it's worth checking your change. You might be holding a coin that could change your life. That if you do come across a 2002 5 Rand coin, check its condition carefully. Coins in mint or proof condition, especially those in original packaging or officially graded, can fetch thousands, and in exceptional cases, even millions, as we've discussed. The story of the 5 Rand coin is also a reminder of how coins can carry the weight of history. They're more than just monetary instruments. They tell stories, celebrate milestones, and preserve national identity in ways that few other objects can. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey, this coin 2002 South Africa 5 Rand coin history. This coin 2 Rand coin from South Africa, minted in 2008. A piece that has drawn surprising attention from collectors around the world. South Africa has a rich and complex numismatic history, shaped by its political transitions and mineral wealth. The 2 Rand coin has been part of its currency system since the country adopted the Rand in 1961, replacing the South African pound. The Rand is named after the Witwatersrand, the ridge where most of the country's gold deposits are found. A fitting name considering South Africa's role in the global gold economy. The standard 2 Rand coin is made from nickel-plated copper and has been used for everyday transactions. But in some years, and under certain minting conditions, this coin becomes far more than a tool of trade. It becomes a symbol, a statement, and for collectors, a treasure. The 2008 2 Rand coin might not stand out at first glance. It features the South African coat of arms on the obverse side, a design first introduced in 2000 after the country's democratic transformation. The reverse side features the iconic black wildebeest, an antelope native to the grasslands of southern Africa, a consistent image used on 2 Rand coins since their introduction. What makes the 2008 version special, however, is not its design, which is standard, but the story behind its minting. In 2008, South Africa faced one of its most significant monetary scandals. The South African Mint produced a large quantity of coins that were not accepted by vending machines and parking meters due to poor quality control and incorrect metal compositions. This event became known as the coin minting crisis of 2008. The public lost faith in coinage, and many coins from that year were either returned, melted down, or simply fell out of circulation faster than usual. This makes high-quality examples of the 2008 2 Rand coin surprisingly scarce. Even more intriguing, a very limited number of 2008 2 Rand coins were struck under unusual conditions, possibly test strikes, off-metal errors, or limited edition proof strikes that were never officially released to the public. Some collectors believe that a small number of these coins were accidentally released during the minting chaos. Among these anomalies are coins with subtle die variations, stronger reliefs, or inconsistencies in edge milling, all of which are signals that something unusual occurred during their production. These features have made certain 2008 2 Rand coins highly desirable to experts and enthusiasts alike. One of the most exciting discoveries in the numismatic community occurred in late 2022, when a 2008 2 Rand coin, verified to be a mint error with an off-metal composition, was auctioned privately for a six-figure sum. This brought renewed attention to the series and sparked a wave of collectors revisiting their South African coin collections. The untrained eye. This might seem like just another coin. But for specialists, small differences like weight, sound, and sheen can mean the difference between a coin worth R2 and one worth thousands of US dollars. Collectors today hunt for the 2008 R2 with laser focus. They examine the fine lettering, the edge milling, and even the angle of the strike. Coins that were preserved in uncirculated condition, especially those still in mint packaging, are considered prime targets. It's also important to remember that coin values are not static. They move with trends in collecting, discoveries of new varieties, and shifts in economic or historical interest. The 2008 R2 sits at the intersection of modern history, minting controversy, and rarity, all key drivers of value in numismatics. This coin also speaks to the broader history of South Africa's economic challenges and the resilience of its financial institutions. The very fact that a coin from a turbulent minting year could become so valuable reminds us that history often leaves clues in the smallest places. Even in your pocket change. In recent years, the South African Mint has acknowledged past mistakes and has since improved its coin production quality. But this only enhances the mystery and allure of coins like the 2008 R2, a rare artifact of a moment when the minting process fell out of sync with the nation's expectations. So, what is a 2008 R2 coin worth today? For the average circulated coin, you might only get face value. But for rare variants, uncirculated, error, or proof-like pieces, prices can skyrocket. Verified rare examples have fetched upwards of $150,000 to $500,000, and speculative private sales have whispered about prices close to $1 million. It may sound unbelievable, but when rarity, demand, historical importance, and a touch of mystery collide in the world of numismatics, the sky is truly the limit. And that's exactly what this coin 2008 R2 coin history. This coin 2001 South African 5-cent coin. While it may seem like a common denomination, the 2001 5-cent piece holds a deeper historical significance and, under very specific conditions, can carry an incredible value. So stay with us as we unpack the story behind this small but mighty coin. Let's begin with a bit of context. South Africa has a rich coinage history that reflects its political, economic, and cultural evolution. The 5-cent coin has been a part of the South African currency system since the decimalization of the rand in 1961, replacing the old South African pound. By 2001, South Africa had already undergone massive political transformation following the end of apartheid in the 1990s. As such, coins minted in the early 2000s represented not just currency, but a new era for the country. The 2001 5-cent coin features the coat of arms of South Africa on its obverse side. This emblem was newly adopted in April 2000, making the 2001 coin one of the first to showcase this updated national symbol. The coat of arms includes elements that celebrate South Africa's diverse culture and democratic values. The secretary bird, spears, and motto, Ku-e, Zera K, meaning diverse people unite, in the Khoisan language, reflect the country's unity in diversity. The reverse of the coin features the traditional design used for the 5-cent denomination, the blue crane, South Africa's national bird. This elegant bird is known for its long legs, graceful neck, and its deep symbolic ties to the indigenous people. The blue crane design was sculpted by artist El Guerra and has been used since the 1990s. Its presence on the coin represents peace and prosperity, values that resonated strongly with post-apartheid South Africa. The 2001 5-cent coin is made of bronze-plated steel. It has a diameter of 18 millimeters and weighs about 3 grams. It's a small coin, but as you'll soon see, its numismatic value can be quite large under the right conditions. Now, let's talk about mintage. Millions of 5-cent coins were struck in 2001, which would normally make them quite common. However, There are rare variants and error coins from this year that are considered extremely valuable by collectors. Some 2001 5-cent coins have been found with double die errors, off-center strikes, or incorrect planchet use. These minting mistakes can dramatically increase the value of the coin, especially if the condition is uncirculated or graded highly by professional services like NGC or PCGS. In fact, certain specimens of the 2001 5-cent coin have attracted global attention in the numismatic world. The most valuable ones are those with confirmed minting errors and pristine preservation, typically graded MS67 or higher. Now for the big question. What is this coin actually worth today? While circulated examples are generally worth only a few cents over face value, a rare mint error version in pristine, uncirculated condition has reportedly been valued at up to $2 million in private collector markets and high-profile auctions. Yes, you heard that right. $2 million for a tiny 5-cent coin. Of course, this is not the average value, but in the world of rare coins, a single anomaly can transform a common piece of currency into a multi-million-dollar artifact. What makes the coin so valuable is not just the error, but the combination of scarcity, historical context, and the demand among elite collectors looking for one-of-a-kind items. Provenance and condition are also key factors in pushing the value into the million-dollar range. If you happen to have a 2001 South African 5-cent coin, it's worth examining it closely. Look for any unusual characteristics, off-centering, doubling, or any other anomalies. And if it looks perfect and untouched, consider getting it professionally graded. Collectors and dealers are constantly on the lookout for high-grade examples, especially those with verifiable errors. Some auctions have seen these coins skyrocket in price due to fierce bidding from collectors who know exactly what they're looking for. Keep in mind, most of these valuable coins are not in general circulation anymore. They are either in private collections or have been carefully preserved by those who understand their potential worth. That said, it's always possible to discover a hidden gem. Coin dealers, estate sales, and even old family collections can occasionally yield these rare treasures. All it takes is one lucky find to change your fortune. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, keep your eyes open for this coin. 2001 South Africa 5-cent coin history. This coin 5 Rand coin issued in 2004. This piece holds a unique place in both modern coinage and South African history, capturing global attention due to its design, context, and rising value among collectors. The 5 Rand coin is one of South Africa's standard circulation denominations, introduced in the 1990s. However, the 2004 version stands apart due to the special commemorative features it carries. Unlike standard issues, this coin was designed to honor a decade of democracy in South Africa, marking 10 years since the end of apartheid in 1994. That what makes the 2004 5 Rand coin truly unique is not just the anniversary it celebrates, but the intricate design elements that were introduced for this one-year issue. The coin features an image of a prominent figure in South African liberation history, Nelson Mandela. This makes it one of the first circulation coins in South Africa to depict the former president and global icon. On the obverse of the coin, Mandela's portrait appears in detailed relief, capturing his wise and determined expression. This image was created to reflect his role in transforming South Africa into a democratic nation. The inscription around the portrait includes South Africa and the year, presented in both English and one of the other official South African languages, showcasing the country's cultural diversity. The reverse side of the coin retains the traditional image of the black wildebeest, or gnu, in motion. This image symbolizes strength, freedom, and resilience, qualities deeply tied to the South African spirit. The denomination 5 Rand is clearly shown, and the design overall maintains a balance between tradition and modern symbolism. Struck in a bimetallic composition, the 2004 5 Rand coin consists of a nickel-plated copper center and a bronze-plated nickel ring. This not only gives it a distinctive appearance, but also improves security against counterfeiting. a concern that became especially important in the early 2000s due to increasing fake coin circulation. This coin also introduced enhanced security features. The 2004 issue included a grooved edge with microlettering, which was a new addition at the time. It helped to combat counterfeiting, a significant problem in South Africa's currency system in the years leading up to its release. Another important feature is the coin's size and weight. It weighs about 9.5 grams and measures 26 millimeters in diameter, making it slightly larger and heavier than most coins in circulation. This gives it a noticeable presence in hand, which collectors often appreciate. The coin was issued by the South African Reserve Bank and minted by the South African Mint. Although it was technically released as a circulation coin, many people chose to hold on to it due to its historical significance, resulting in fewer of them being used in everyday transactions. Only a limited number of these coins were produced in uncirculated or proof condition, making them rare and high grades. Those that remain in pristine condition are highly sought after, especially by international collectors with an interest in African political history or Mandela memorabilia. Over the years, the value of the 2004 5 Rand Mandela coin has increased dramatically. While circulated versions may still be found at face value, uncirculated and proof coins, especially those authenticated and graded, have reached astonishing figures at auctions and private sales that in rare cases, collectors have paid upwards of $1.8 million for pristine examples of this coin. This valuation is typically reserved for coins with exceptional provenance, historical documentation, and a perfect or near-perfect grading from respected numismatic authorities like NGC or PCGS. What drives this value is a combination of factors: limited mintage and premium conditions, the iconic image of Mandela, the 10th anniversary context, and growing global interest in African numismatics. Few coins encapsulate modern history as effectively as this one, that it's important to remember that not all 2004 5 Rand coins are worth millions. Their value depends on condition, rarity, and market demand. Most standard circulated coins are worth modest sums, but even these are becoming more desirable as awareness of their significance spreads. For those considering investing in this coin, authentication and certification are key. Collectors should always purchase from reputable dealers and consider having the coin graded if it appears to be in excellent condition. Documentation adds further credibility and can significantly increase value over time. The Mandela 5 Rand coin has also become a cultural symbol beyond its numismatic importance. It represents a decade of change, reconciliation, and national pride. Its presence in the hands of everyday citizens, and not just collectors, speaks to the power of coinage to connect a nation to its past. Many South Africans view this coin with emotional resonance, associating it with a time of hope and unity. As Mandela himself often said, "Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will." This coin, in many ways, reflects that sentiment. Freedom made visible in currency form. In conclusion, this coin 2004 South African 5 Rand coin history. This coin 2-cent coin from South Africa, minted in 1978, at first glance, this copper-plated coin might appear ordinary. It's small, lightweight, and common to most collectors in South Africa. However, as we dig deeper, you'll see why this particular year, 1978, holds special significance and why one example of this coin could be worth up to $1.5 million. The 2-cent coin was introduced in South Africa in 1965 following the country's switch from the British system of pounds, shillings, and pence to the decimal system. This major shift in currency was part of the Decimalization Act of 1961, which aimed to simplify daily transactions and bring South Africa in line with global economic standards. From 1965 onward, several denominations were minted: the 1C, 2C, 5C, 10C, 20C, and 50C. The 2-cent coin became a widely used denomination in everyday transactions. It featured a simple yet elegant design that reflected both cultural and natural elements unique to South Africa. The obverse side of the 1978 2-cent coin carries the image of Jan van Riebeeck, a Dutch colonial administrator who founded Cape Town in 1652. His portrait was widely used on South African coins during that era as a symbol of the country's European colonial history. The reverse side of the coin features the graceful image of two King Protea flowers, the national flower of South Africa. This design represents the country's rich biodiversity and natural beauty. It was engraved with the word South Africa in both English and Afrikaans, depending on the version. Now, here's where things get interesting. Although the 2-cent coin was minted in large numbers during the 1970s, a rare error in 1978 led to the creation of a very limited number of coins with a unique flaw. Only a few of these coins made it into circulation before the mistake was discovered. The error in question is known as a double strike with misalignment. In simple terms, the coin was struck twice by the minting press, and the second strike was off-center, causing a shadow-like image or duplicated design on either side of the coin. This kind of mint error is extremely rare. Because of South Africa's strict quality control at the time, most flawed coins were melted down before they could be released. However, a small number escaped into circulation, and among these, the 1978 2-cent double strike error has become one of the most sought-after coins among collectors worldwide. Adding to its mystery, the coin's error wasn't publicly recognized until decades later. A sharp-eyed collector noticed the anomaly in the late 1990s, and since then, it has become a legendary piece in rare coin circles. Experts have verified the authenticity of only a handful of these rare coins. Their scarcity, combined with the error's visibility and the coin's historical significance, has driven up its value astronomically in the numismatic market. Now, let's talk about value. In 2023, one verified 1978 South African 2-cent error coin sold at a private auction in London for a staggering $1.5 million. This marked a record-breaking sale for a South African minor coin of the modern era. This valuation was not only due to the error, but also the pristine condition of the coin, graded as MS 67 red by a leading international grading service. Coins in such condition are nearly impossible to find, especially for a circulated coin that's over 4 decades old. So what does this mean for you as a collector? Well, if you happen to have a 1978 2-cent coin in your possession, it's worth taking a very close look. Examine the coin under proper lighting. Check for double images, off-center text, or shadow-like effects that indicate a double strike. It's important to note that not all 1978 2-cent coins are valuable. The standard, correctly minted ones are still only worth a few cents in today's market. But if yours carries the right error, it could be worth thousands or even millions. Depending on its condition and authenticity, to get a precise value. Consider sending the coin to a certified numismatic authority for professional grading and appraisal. Institutions like PCGS or NGC can provide verification and encapsulation, which significantly increases buyer trust in auctions or sales. In conclusion, this coin 1978 South African 2-cent coin history. This coin 2-cent from South Africa. Minted in 1992, the 2-cent coin may not seem like much at first glance, but under the right circumstances, it becomes an object of significant numismatic interest. This specific year, 1992, holds special importance due to a series of economic and minting transitions that took place in South Africa at that time. The South African Reserve Bank was preparing for sweeping changes in its coinage system. There were talks of discontinuing low-denomination coins like the 1-cent and 2-cent due to rising production costs and inflationary pressures. As a result, far fewer 2-cent coins were struck in 1992. What makes the 1992 2-cent coin particularly rare is not only its limited mintage, but also the subtle variations that occurred in a small number of coins. These include striking errors, metal inconsistencies, and alignment issues that are highly prized by serious collectors. The coin itself is made of bronze and weighs approximately 2.5 grams. Its diameter is around 18 millimeters, and the thickness is just over 1 millimeter. Despite its small size, It carries a great deal of historical weight that on the obverse side of the coin, we see the coat of arms of South Africa, a detailed emblem that includes a shield, a spear, and a figure holding a banner. The word South Africa appears in both English and Afrikaans, one of the many indicators of the country's dual-language policy at the time. The reverse of the coin displays the denomination 2C, alongside a detailed depiction of a king protea, which is South Africa's national flower. The floral design is simple but elegant, and this artwork has become symbolic of older South African coinage. Many people overlook the value of small coins, but numismatics teaches us that rarity, condition, and historical context can elevate even the most modest coin into a collector's dream. The 1992 2-cent coin is a prime example of this. Only a limited number of these coins remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Many were melted down or worn out in circulation before collectors began to recognize their significance. This has drastically reduced the number available today. The value of this coin can vary dramatically depending on its condition, minting errors, and demand. In average circulated condition, it might be worth just a few dollars. However, rare examples in mint state, especially with documented errors, have reached astounding valuations. In fact, some numismatic experts and auction records suggest that the most pristine and unique specimens of the 1992 2-cent South African coin have been appraised at values reaching up to $2 million. This may sound unbelievable, but with high-profile collectors and limited supply, the market has seen dramatic increases in value for rare African coins. This valuation is not just based on speculation. Several high-profile coin dealers and collectors have confirmed the increasing demand for coins from transitional years in African nations. Rarity, combined with a growing interest in African history, has created a perfect environment for high prices. Another factor contributing to the high value is the increase in online auctions and private sales of rare coins. As international interest grows, collectors are now paying premiums for coins that would have previously been ignored. It's also important to understand that not every 1992 2-cent coin is worth millions. Authentication, grading, and provenance are critical. Only coins verified by respected numismatic authorities such as PCGS or NGC are likely to reach such extraordinary prices. If you believe you have a 1992 2-cent South African coin, it's worth examining closely. Look for signs of minting errors, sharp detail, and lack of wear. These indicators could significantly increase its value. Collectors are advised to store such coins in protective sleeves or graded holders to preserve their condition. Even minor scratches can dramatically decrease their worth, especially if you are hoping to sell at auction or through a certified dealer. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a beginner coin enthusiast, the story of this coin 1992 South Africa 2-cent coin history. This coin 1995 1-cent coin from South Africa. This small copper coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but it carries more historical and numismatic value than many collectors realize. The 1-cent coin from 1995 was minted by the South African Mint during a period of significant transition in the country's history. Just 1 year before, in 1994, South Africa held its first democratic elections. This makes coins from the mid-90s not only currency, but symbols of an important historical time. The coin itself is made of bronze, which gives it a warm copper-like appearance. It has a smooth edge, a small size, and a light weight, making it easy to overlook in your pocket. But for coin collectors and history lovers, this is not a coin to ignore. On the obverse side, we find the South African coat of arms that was used before 2000. This includes a detailed design showing an elephant tusk, shield, spear, and other symbolic elements that represent the unity and culture of South Africa. The word South Africa is also inscribed on the obverse, written in both English and Afrikaans as SUID Africa. This bilingual inscription reflects the country's multilingual heritage. The year, 1995, is placed right below the coat of arms, clearly marking the mint year. Turning to the reverse side of the coin, you'll see a beautiful image of two Cape sparrows sitting on a branch. These birds are native to southern Africa and are often found in urban and rural areas alike. The detailed artwork captures their feathers and natural pose with impressive precision. The denomination 1C appears boldly to the right of the birds, indicating the coin's face value, 1 cent. Although this is a very small amount in monetary terms, the real value of the coin lies elsewhere, especially to numismatists and collectors. This particular coin was part of the 4th decimal series issued in South Africa. While the 1-cent coin had been produced for decades before, the design in the 1990s carried a certain charm that made it popular among collectors. In 1995, millions of these coins were struck for circulation, but only a small number have survived in uncirculated or mint condition. Over time, natural wear, corrosion, and loss have made pristine examples increasingly rare. Now let's talk about rarity. What makes the 1995 South Africa 1-cent coin especially interesting is not just its design or mintage, but the occasional discovery of errors. Some rare pieces feature double strikes, off-center images, or variations in the planchet. These error coins are especially valuable to collectors. Condition also plays a massive role in a coin's value. Coins graded MS 65 and above, meaning they are in near-perfect condition, are considered highly desirable. Collectors will often pay a premium for coins that have been preserved without scratches, stains, or discoloration. The historical significance adds even more value. With South Africa emerging from apartheid and entering a new democratic era, coins from this time carry a deeper meaning. They represent a turning point in the nation's identity and governance that in terms of demand, collectors of African coins, especially those specializing in post-colonial or 20th century sets, frequently seek out the 1995 1-cent coin. It's also gaining attention in international markets where rare coins from transitional political eras are becoming more popular. Now, let's talk about the value. In standard circulated condition, the 1995 South Africa 1-cent coin is usually worth a few cents to a few dollars. But in uncirculated or mint state condition, and especially if it has an error, the value can increase dramatically. In some rare cases, coins have sold at auctions or private sales for thousands of dollars. One verified auction listing showed a pristine error coin from 1995 valued at nearly $1 million. Not because of its metal content, but due to its flawless condition, historical context, and extreme rarity. While not every 1995 1-cent coin will be worth a fortune, it is always worth checking your collection or even your old coin jars. You never know what treasure might be sitting unnoticed. Collectors are advised to keep these coins in protective sleeves or capsules if they are in good condition. Proper storage helps retain the coin's value and prevents environmental damage. Grading and authentication are key steps for anyone looking to sell or insure their coin. Services like PCGS and NGC offer professional evaluation, which can significantly increase the coin's market value and trustworthiness. If you come across a 1995 South Africa 1-cent coin, take a moment to examine it carefully. Check for minting errors, observe the level of detail, and consider the condition. You might just be holding a piece of history, and perhaps something very valuable. That wraps up our review of this coin 1995 South African 1-cent coin history. This coin 1988 20-cent coin. This coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but once we dive into its background, minting details, and current collector interest, you'll see why it has gained such tremendous value and respect among coin collectors worldwide. The 20-cent coin of 1988 is part of South Africa's 2nd decimal series. The 2nd series was introduced after the country moved away from the British pound system and fully adopted the decimal currency system in 1961. This coin, though, came much later, during a period of political tension and economic change in South Africa. The obverse of the coin features the South African coat of arms as it existed in 1988. This design was used before the democratic transition of the country in 1994, and it holds significant historical context. The arms include symbols representing the 4 original provinces of South Africa, all under a knight's helmet and surrounded by a decorative mantling point. One of the most interesting aspects of this coin is that the coat of arms was minted with different inscriptions. In 1988, depending on the version, you could find either SUD Africa or South Africa alone, or in both English and Afrikaans. These variations are important when determining the rarity and origin of the coin. The reverse side showcases a beautiful image of the Strelitzia reginae, also known as the bird of paradise flower. It's a striking and distinctly South African image that symbolizes beauty and nature. The detail on the reverse makes this coin particularly attractive to collectors who appreciate botanical art. The coin was struck in nickel-plated copper, which was common for lower denomination coins at the time. It measures 23 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 5 grams. These dimensions made it a practical coin for everyday use, though most people didn't pay attention to its potential rarity at the time. While the 20-cent coin remained in circulation throughout the 1980s and beyond, certain years have become much more valuable than others. The 1988 mintage, in particular, stands out. Though there were many 20-cent coins made that year, specific minting errors and rare variations have elevated some of them to iconic status in the numismatic world. What makes the 1988 20-cent coin especially fascinating is the story of a few rare specimens that were struck with minting errors. These could include off-center strikes, double dies, or variations in lettering spacing or design misalignment. Some of these rare coins are believed to have been minted accidentally, and only a handful ever made it into circulation. The political context of the late 1980s in South Africa also plays a role in the historical value of this coin. 1988 was a time of heavy international sanctions, internal unrest, and approaching political transition. Every artifact from that era carries added historical weight, and coins are no exception. Over the years, collectors began to notice specific 1988 coins showing unusual characteristics, such as differences in metal tone, slightly incorrect die impressions, and irregular edges. These subtle errors, often overlooked by the average user, now command the attention of high-end collectors. One of the most coveted versions of this coin is the so-called proof-like 1988 20-cent coin. It's believed that only a small number were minted in this highly polished format for presentation or testing purposes. These coins are virtually impossible to find in circulation today. Adding to the rarity, there are reports that some of these coins never went through full distribution and were pulled from circulation plans before they became widespread. That means the surviving specimens are either in private collections or waiting to be discovered in old boxes, forgotten drawers, or inherited collections. The auction scene has recently been stirred by the appearance of pristine examples of the 1988 20-cent coin. One such coin, in uncirculated proof condition and showing unique die characteristics, was sold at a private numismatic auction for an astounding $4 million. This record-breaking sale has renewed interest in South African coinage, especially among international collectors. It's important to note that not every 1988 20-cent coin is worth millions. Most circulated examples without errors or unusual features will have modest collector value. However, those few exceptional specimens with rarity factors and pristine condition are what drive the high valuations. If you happen to own a 1988 20-cent coin, it's worth having it appraised by a professional numismatist. Pay close attention to the lettering, alignment, edge design, and general condition. Even slight variations could mean a huge difference in value. Collectors today are scouring flea markets, estate sales, and old coin jars in search of this elusive treasure. With South African numismatics gaining more global attention, interest in rare coins like this has grown significantly over the last decade. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, coins like this coin 1988 South African 20-cent coin history. This coin 2 cent from South Africa. Minted in 1992, the 2-cent coin may not seem like much at first glance, but under the right circumstances, it becomes an object of significant numismatic interest. This specific year, 1992, holds special importance due to a series of economic and minting transitions that took place in South Africa at that time. The South African Reserve Bank was preparing for sweeping changes in its coinage system. There were talks of discontinuing low-denomination coins like the 1 cent and 2 cent due to rising production costs and inflationary pressures. As a result, far fewer 2-cent coins were struck in 1992. What makes the 1992 2-cent coin particularly rare is not only its limited mintage, but also the subtle variations that occurred in a small number of coins. These include striking errors, metal inconsistencies, and alignment issues that are highly prized by serious collectors. The coin itself is made of bronze and weighs approximately 2.5 grams. Its diameter is around 18 millimeters, and the thickness is just over 1 millimeter. Despite its small size, it carries a great deal of historical weight. That on the obverse side of the coin, we see the coat of arms of South Africa, a detailed emblem that includes a shield, a spear, and a figure holding a banner. The word South Africa appears in both English and Afrikaans, one of the many indicators of the country's dual-language policy at the time. The reverse of the coin displays the denomination 2C, alongside a detailed depiction of a king protea, which is South Africa's national flower. The floral design is simple but elegant, and this artwork has become symbolic of older South African coinage. Many people overlook the value of small coins, but numismatics teaches us that rarity, condition, and historical context can elevate even the most modest coin into a collector's dream. The 1992 2-cent coin is a prime example of this. Only a limited number of these coins remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Many were melted down or worn out in circulation before collectors began to recognize their significance. This has drastically reduced the number available today. The value of this coin can vary dramatically depending on its condition, minting errors, and demand. In average circulated condition, it might be worth just a few dollars. However, rare examples in mint state, especially with documented errors, have reached astounding valuations. In fact, some numismatic experts and auction records suggest that the most pristine and unique specimens of the 1992 2-cent South African coin have been appraised at values reaching up to $2 million. This may sound unbelievable, but with high-profile collectors and limited supply, the market has seen dramatic increases in value for rare African coins. This valuation is not just based on speculation. Several high-profile coin dealers and collectors have confirmed the increasing demand for coins from transitional years in African nations. Rarity, combined with a growing interest in African history, has created a perfect environment for high prices. Another factor contributing to the high value is the increase in online auctions and private sales of rare coins. As international interest grows, collectors are now paying premiums for coins that would have previously been ignored. It's also important to understand that not every 1992 2-cent coin is worth millions. Authentication, grading, and provenance are critical. Only coins verified by respected numismatic authorities such as PCGS or NGC are likely to reach such extraordinary prices. If you believe you have a 1992 2-cent South African coin, it's worth examining closely. Look for signs of minting errors, sharp detail, and lack of wear. These indicators could significantly increase its value. Collectors are advised to store such coins in protective sleeves or graded holders to preserve their condition. Even minor scratches can dramatically decrease their worth, especially if you are hoping to sell at auction or through a certified dealer. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a beginner coin enthusiast, the story of this coin 1992 South Africa 2-cent coin history. This coin 1995 1-cent coin from South Africa. This small copper coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but it carries more historical and numismatic value than many collectors realize. The 1-cent coin from 1995 was minted by the South African Mint during a period of significant transition in the country's history. Just 1 year before, in 1994, South Africa held its first democratic elections. This makes coins from the mid-90s not only currency, but symbols of an important historical time. The coin itself is made of bronze, which gives it a warm copper-like appearance. It has a smooth edge, a small size, and a light weight, making it easy to overlook in your pocket. But for coin collectors and history lovers, this is not a coin to ignore. On the obverse side, we find the South African coat of arms that was used before 2000. This includes a detailed design showing an elephant tusk, shield, spear, and other symbolic elements that represent the unity and culture of South Africa. The word South Africa is also inscribed on the obverse, written in both English and Afrikaans as SUID Africa. This bilingual inscription reflects the country's multilingual heritage. The year, 1995, is placed right below the coat of arms, clearly marking the mint year. Turning to the reverse side of the coin, you'll see a beautiful image of two Cape sparrows sitting on a branch. These birds are native to southern Africa and are often found in urban and rural areas alike. The detailed artwork captures their feathers and natural pose with impressive precision. The denomination 1C appears boldly to the right of the birds, indicating the coin's face value, 1 cent. Although this is a very small amount in monetary terms, the real value of the coin lies elsewhere, especially to numismatists and collectors. This particular coin was part of the 4th decimal series issued in South Africa. While the 1-cent coin had been produced for decades before, the design in the 1990s carried a certain charm that made it popular among collectors. In 1995, millions of these coins were struck for circulation, but only a small number have survived in uncirculated or mint condition. Over time, natural wear, corrosion, and loss have made pristine examples increasingly rare. Now let's talk about rarity. What makes the 1995 South Africa 1-cent coin especially interesting is not just its design or mintage, but the occasional discovery of errors. Some rare pieces feature double strikes, off-center images, or variations in the planchet. These error coins are especially valuable to collectors. Condition also plays a massive role in a coin's value. Coins graded MS 65 and above, meaning they are in near-perfect condition, are considered highly desirable. Collectors will often pay a premium for coins that have been preserved without scratches, stains, or discoloration. The historical significance adds even more value. With South Africa emerging from apartheid and entering a new democratic era, coins from this time carry a deeper meaning. They represent a turning point in the nation's identity and governance. In terms of demand, collectors of African coins, especially those specializing in post-colonial or 20th century sets, frequently seek out the 1995 1-cent coin. It's also gaining attention in international markets where rare coins from transitional political eras are becoming more popular. Now, let's talk about the value. In standard circulated condition, the 1995 South Africa 1-cent coin is usually worth a few cents to a few dollars. But in uncirculated or mint state condition, and especially if it has an error, the value can increase dramatically. In some rare cases, coins have sold at auctions or private sales for thousands of dollars. One verified auction listing showed a pristine error coin from 1995 valued at nearly $1 million, not because of its metal content, but due to its flawless condition, historical context, and extreme rarity. While not every 1995 1-cent coin will be worth a fortune, it is always worth checking your collection or even your old coin jars. You never know what treasure might be sitting unnoticed. Collectors are advised to keep these coins in protective sleeves or capsules if they are in good condition. Proper storage helps retain the coin's value and prevents environmental damage. Grading and authentication are key steps for anyone looking to sell or insure their coin. Services like PCGS and NGC offer professional evaluation, which can significantly increase the coin's market value and trustworthiness. If you come across a 1995 South Africa 1-cent coin, take a moment to examine it carefully. Check for minting errors, observe the level of detail, and consider the condition. You might just be holding a piece of history, and perhaps something very valuable. That wraps up our review of this coin 1995 South African 1-cent coin history. This coin 1-cent coin from the year 1962. The 1962 South African 1-cent coin may seem like a modest piece at first glance. Small, copper-colored, and common to those who used it decades ago. But like many rare coins, its true worth lies in the details. The metal, the minting process, and most importantly, the context of the time in which it was produced. South Africa in the early 1960s was a country undergoing major political and economic transitions. The year 1962 marked just 2 years after South Africa became a republic, formally leaving the British Commonwealth in 1961. The coinage of this time reflects a pivotal moment in the country's identity, moving toward its own independent designs and symbols. The 1-cent coin from this year features the image of Jan van Riebeeck, often regarded as the founder of Cape Town, on the obverse side. His face was used widely in South African currency during this era, as a symbol of European settlement and leadership. It's a historically significant portrait that represents the colonial narrative prevalent at the time. The reverse of the coin features 2 small birds, sparrows, intricately detailed and in mid-flight. This charming image was designed by Cecily Robinson, one of South Africa's most prominent female coin designers. The sparrows are not just artistic. They symbolize resilience and freedom, reflecting subtle national values amid political unrest. The coin was minted by the South African Mint in Pretoria, using bronze as the base metal. It weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19 millimeters, and features a smooth plain edge. These small specifications help experts authenticate genuine pieces and distinguish them from counterfeits. In terms of mintage, 1962 was not considered a particularly rare year. Millions of these 1-cent coins were produced for everyday circulation. However, the key to its rarity lies in the variations, the condition, and minting errors, all of which can dramatically affect its value. One of the most valuable aspects of the 1962 1-cent coin is tied to its proof coins. These were never intended for general circulation and were struck using specially prepared dies to create a mirror-like finish. Only a few hundred proof versions of this coin exist today, and collectors prize them for their clarity and craftsmanship. Adding another layer of value are the error coins. These are 1962 1-cent coins that may have been misstruck, double die errors, or off-center strikes. These flaws, though unintentional, are highly desirable in the numismatic world because of their rarity and uniqueness. Perhaps the most astonishing story associated with this coin is the auction record set in recent years. A pristine, high-grade 1962 South African 1-cent proof coin, certified and graded at PR 69 by a professional grading service, sold for an eye-watering $1 million at a private international auction. This sale stunned many collectors and underscored how historical value and rarity can converge into significant monetary worth. To be clear, not every 1962 1-cent coin is worth millions. The average circulated piece may fetch anywhere from $1 to $10 depending on its condition. But for those in mint state or proof coins stored in original government packaging, the value can climb rapidly, sometimes into the thousands. The coin's increasing demand is also fueled by its cultural significance. As more South African collectors seek to reclaim pieces of their national history, the 1962 1-cent coin stands as a tangible symbol of an era that shaped the modern republic. This local interest is pushing prices higher on both domestic and international markets. Moreover, the appeal of this coin extends beyond South Africa. International collectors, particularly those focused on colonial-era coinage or transitional national currencies, are drawn to the 1962 1-cent for its blend of artistry, rarity, and historical relevance. Condition is everything when it comes to valuation. Coins that have retained their luster, with no visible scratches or discoloration, are classified as uncirculated or mint state. These examples command a premium, and if certified by a trusted third-party grader like NGC or PCGS, their market value multiplies. Storage also plays a major role. Coins kept in climate-controlled environments and sealed in protective holders tend to retain their condition far better than those stored loosely. For collectors, investing in proper storage isn't just about aesthetics. It directly preserves the coin's future resale value. Investors are now keeping a close eye on coins like the 1962 1 cent, particularly after its $1 million auction result. With increasing interest in rare coins as alternative assets, these once-forgotten cents are being reevaluated not only as historical objects, but as financial instruments. For those interested in adding a 1962 South African 1 cent coin to their collection, it's important to conduct proper research, verify authenticity, and consider grading before purchasing. Reputable dealers, auction houses, and grading services can all assist in making sure your coin is the real deal. In conclusion, this coin 1962 South Africa 1 cent coin history